Well, hello there. My name is Dave Bila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views, broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, and national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and responsibilities of those making the comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its by co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of Larry and Schmo is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the contents, the program, the discussions, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, 1st of May, park stickers became available, and I was driving around this morning after I visited St. Anthony Hospital, and I decided to go down to the park department and get my park sticker. Well, I counted in line when I got there. There were 15 people ahead of me, and they were passing a little bitty yellow pad down the line. There were more people behind me, of course. And what the park department is requesting from each and every individual who picks up their park sticker is their current email address. I guess the logic behind the email address is the park sticker implementation of the park sticker program for next year will be accomplished much easier via the email concept than standing in line as I did. There were 15 people ahead of me and people behind me. So it makes sense. And so that sort of opens up a question in my mind of implementation of the park stickers into Washington Park and new parking legislation and everything else. And how are the park department, how are they going to accomplish this task? My understanding is they're going to implement flock cameras in Washington Park. License plate readers, because the license plate readers will then identify the vehicles that enter the park. And so there was an issue with the Redevelopment Commission. The Michigan City Police Department approached them and asked for another $60,000 to renew their flock camera approach. Well, we just had an unfortunate situation in the Pines that occurred over prom weekend, and I was thinking about the positioning of the existing. We have, I believe, 60 flock cameras in Michigan City, and I just wonder if the location of these various flock cameras within the confines of Michigan City had any impetus in forcing maybe an unforeseen shooting outside of the confines of Michigan City into Porter County. And if that same concept is relevant to people, the element of crime moving out of the community, could it not be also relevant in the people of Michigan City having a opportunity to watch the sunset off the beach of Lake Michigan without fear of potential violence? If all of the vehicles are red, you know, if you can't enter the park without identifying your vehicle, and if it is determined that somebody is coming into the park with possibly ill intentions, maybe this is another a visual deterrent that might chase the element of dysfunction away here in Michigan City and chase it someplace else. Tony?
I believe, if I'm right, there are flock cameras at 20 and 12 in the Pines. They're not Michigan City's flock cameras, but the flock cameras are all connected together with a national database. And I think the element of people, not saying crime, but the element of people that went out to the Pines, which is in Porter County, purposely did it, like you said, as a deterrent because they don't want the police, either Michigan City Police or the Porter County Police, they want out of their jurisdiction. So they went to the Pines, because that is Porter County, and that is the far east side of Porter County Sheriff's jurisdiction. So Porter County is very big. They don't send many Porter County sheriffs up to the Pines. So they went to the Pines, and things happen all the time. It's bad that somebody got shot, but that's why they're there. And now my flock camera, I don't know how to be nice about it, is I don't want to give up my freedom, because whatever they tell us about flock cameras, they tell us that, you know, they're not tracking people, they're not reading people, they're not databasing. That's not true. That database is extensive, and it has been proven across this nation, which I knew the day we did it, that people were using flock cameras, and I don't say Michigan City Police or LaPorte County Police, but police officers have used flock cameras for nefarious activities, and they should not have been using them. And I don't know what those people across the United States, those police officers or firefighters, whoever was using the flock cameras for their own personal use, and it happens, folks. It's proven. It has happened. And if it's been proven once, I'm sure it's way more prevalent than we know, that people clicking on flock cameras to track somebody they shouldn't be. And now there's a problem with flock cameras that they are, and we all know AI, right? AI is 80% correct. Do you really want to be part of the 20%? We know there are many instances across this country where the flock cameras are reading plates wrong, and people are getting pulled over for, and these people are getting pulled over by gunpoint because they think they either stole a car or a robbery or they're a legal citizen. And then they say, oh, I'm sorry, the flock camera was wrong. Do you really want to be in that situation? I'm not trading my freedom for the flock cameras. They are very expensive. I would rather, so you're going to go over this, right? I would rather take the money that we spend on flock cameras and pay police officers more or hire more police officers, because that was the impetus behind the Pines. They have flock cameras. We have more of them, and we have ShotSpotter. But the impetus was they go to the Pines, they're out of the jurisdiction of the county sheriff and Michigan City Police. They're in the Porter County Sheriff's, and that's a long way from Porter County seat. I would rather pay the police officers more money, or I think you have a far greater deterrent of police officers in their cars, visible on the streets, than a flock camera that supposedly they only turn on when they're looking for a plate. It's recording every single plate. It is databasing every single plate. How long it's storing, they're not really telling us the whole story. They're saying whatever, 24 hours, 48 hours, 96 hours, a month, 3 months. They're not telling us the whole story on how much they're storing that database. I'd be willing to bet it's never erased. I'd be willing to bet it's somewhere, because we know you can go on the internet and they have something called the Wayback Machine. When somebody posts something or they say something 5, 10, 20 years ago, somebody, some independent source has documented that and stored it, and they call that the Wayback Machine. You can go back and look at somebody's tweet, somebody's social post, some advertisement, some website. It's all stored somewhere. And I guarantee you the government is very good at going back and finding out where those flock cameras and tracking license plates. And the other part I don't like is they say, oh, they only look at the license plate. That is not true. That camera is not just looking at your license plate. They might intend that, but that camera does not just look at a license plate. It has a field of vision. I've never seen the database. I can't imagine that camera, now they might, once they take the picture, they might shrink it down to the plate. But that picture in that camera, there's no hole like a sheet of paper that only points at the plate. It's taking a picture of the whole car, shrinking it down to the license plate. So they know everything. They probably see who's driving. I mean, they've been doing this, okay, we're going to go back. They've been doing this since World War II with the Germans, right? And the Germans, that's how they control traffic. They take your picture, they see if you're speeding, they send you a ticket. They don't mess around over in Europe. But again, I'm not going to trade my freedom for Big Brother here, because that's what's happening. And we know, it's proven, we know people are being pulled over for something they didn't do at gunpoint. Guns open and blazing, pulling people over because they thought they stole a car or there's something that alerted the police. And then we also know that some people who have access to these flock cameras are using them for things they should not. I know it's not, you're not going to get your full safety. Are you willing to trade your freedom for an AI camera system to track the criminals? They're tracking everybody, folks, everybody.
I have a flock camera located in front of my former business on the corner of Chicago.
And I think you have a shot spotter too.
Chicago and Kentucky Street. And sometime in the past, within the past year or so, some tree trimmers cut down some big gigantic limbs off of a tree that we discovered where it came from. And they pulled the limbs and they set them on my property, on my horseshoe driveway. So I then went to the police department and I requested for them to research the flock camera to see if they could figure out, because where the flock camera is located and the way the tree limb was brought in, it had to be drug in this way. So a vehicle had to have pulled right in front of the flock camera. According to the Michigan City Police Department, lo and behold, they have no visual.
Yeah, they probably don't. Of the whole camera, just the plate.
So how do they then pinpoint the plate? I mean, is there a
the camera
zoom lens?
The software, I think, crops out just the plate. But the camera is not going to not take the whole picture. So I'll have to research this. But the camera takes the picture. The software crops out just the plate. Doesn't mean that picture doesn't exist somewhere. I mean, we are in such a scary, creepy slope that there are communities in the United States who are getting rid of their flock cameras. Chicago got rid of theirs, right? Chicago said, we're not paying for this anymore. And I believe some other people stepped up and paid to keep them running. I don't know how that works. I guess it's public right away, you can do that. But are you willing to trade your freedom for a perceived safety net that goes both ways?
Okay. As it stands, at last redevelopment commission meeting, the redevelopment commission appropriated another, I believe, $80,000 to renew the yearly subscription fee for the flock cameras. So the question is, where does it appears as if you can see by this renewal where the redevelopment commission stands. But this was upon the request of the police chief, because we have an element of crime in certain areas of town, and he showed a printout. I seen a printout of all the locations of the flock cameras, and it revolves around the Elston Grove area, and yet when they catch somebody, nobody basically rats on the individual who pulled the trigger or something like this. And so, what type of deterrent can we have out there? So we have more police, maybe police cars sitting on every corner of the Elston Grove area,
or police that live in town and park their car in the neighborhood. I don't understand how the society isn't up in arms, because when people talk about race profiling, they get really upset. We're beyond race profiling. You look at those cameras. I've looked at this in the shot spotters. If you look close, you know where they are. They're not in the good neighborhoods.
No.
We have gone from race profiling to social profiling. They are profiling neighborhoods that are bad.
Now, the city of Indianapolis just initiated what's the word?
A moratorium?
No, 14-year-olds have to be off the street at a certain amount.
A curfew.
A curfew. They got it broken down from 14-year-olds, 15 to 17-year-olds, and
yeah, downtown Indianapolis is having troubles right now.
There's trouble.
There's a lot of trouble. So is Chicago.
Michigan had a situation when they had a prom up there.
But again, we have gone. If anyone says you're race profiling, they get very upset. We have gone to social profiling. We're going to people, and not just race, poor people, any race, who live in underserved neighborhoods, have flock cameras and shot spotters. I mean, talk about profiling. They're not in the good neighborhoods. I guarantee you they're not. And now, your freedom is gone, whether you like it or not. And we're seeing the problem of these cameras. And what warmed my heart is last Super Bowl. If you watched last Super Bowl, there's a commercial about Ring. So everyone's got Ring cameras on their house, right? And Ring, the flock camera people said they were going to incorporate the Ring cameras into their system, because I think that's Amazon. There's other cameras. And then they would be able to find things like people stealing packages or lost kids or lost dogs. And then Amazon got a huge flurry of contacts and emails and social media, and they said, you're going to let flock cameras attach their Ring cameras in your system? We're done. We're cutting ourselves off. We will not be a part of your system. And then Amazon said, well, wait a minute. They never asked us that. We are not tying in Ring cameras to all the flock cameras or for the purpose of finding a lost dog. And I warmed my heart that people stood up and said, enough. Our freedom is more important than be under constant surveillance. And yes, some criminals are going to do some nefarious things. And that's why I say I would rather pay the police officers, if you could pay the police officers $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 more a year, or hire 5 or 10 more police officers in your town, high profile, in a car, marked, parked in neighborhoods, that will deter crime.
A visual deterrent.
They know. They're going to drive by and like, wait a minute, police officers here all the time. I mean, you look at Westville, look at Trail Creek. When you drive through Trail Creek on Johnson Road, or you drive down Westville 420, we all know you don't speed through there because the cops will pull you over. That's a deterrent, knowing something's going to happen. Not this camera that I may or may not get away with it, or some people are covering up their plate, or they are taking film and they're obscuring their plate, and you can't see it. The criminals are going to do what they can unless they see a police officer there, knowing they're there, and we pay these police officers. We should pay them as much as we can. Now, back to your $140,000 for flock cameras. A couple things there. License plate reader is probably a good idea for getting in and out of the park. Read your plate, know who's there, who shouldn't be there. Real simple. You go to the car wash, they're reading your license plate. That's your choice. But are they going to put these flock cameras in the park, in the parking lot? Are they going to put them in Fedder's Alley, where I understand some very bad things are going on, and we're going to build a brand new child's park, and some very disgusting things are going on? Should they put those cameras there? Yes. If you're in Fedder's Park, when I was a kid, people went out to Fedder's Alley. But now things are getting bad? Yes. That would be a deterrent. A camera, just like in Chicago with the blue light on, tells you, hey, this camera's on. Don't be coming to Fedder's Alley and doing things you wouldn't want to do in church. And stop that, whatever's going on. Or Strevel Pond, some things going on out there should not be going on. And again, if we don't put a camera, put a police officer down there. If we have extra police officers, park them there at night from 7 to 11 o'clock. You know what? They're going to not go there anymore. Park them out at Strevel Pond. You know what? They're not going to do those things anymore. They will go somewhere else. But a camera that's reading 24 hours, stored in some database somewhere, that they tell us they're not doing anything with it, they're not storing it, they're deleting it, don't believe it. Don't believe it one bit.
And just to add something else, what I saw today, driving the city, coming back north on Franklin Street, from where Myers is located and Lowe's is located and Menards is located. There are 3 locations. There are individuals standing with your help. You can continue to extend my life, and holding their hands out. We've got the homeless on the streets. When the weather breaks, you'll see more of them coming out of the woodwork.
And that's a safety issue, because they're sitting on small islands in the middle. Mm-hmm. And the city can pass a law, an ordinance, saying you cannot do that. I believe Virginia did that. It passed the Supreme Court. I believe it's 3 foot or 30 inches. If you're within 3 foot and you can't be, can't stay without 3 foot outside the curb, you can't panhandle there. It's not a question of First Amendment rights. It's a question of safety.
Yeah, as the cars come in and come out.
very unsafe.
There's a little island right there in
Can't
the
do
center.
it. It's not
right
more
on
than 3
that
foot
island.
wide. They cannot. The Michigan City could tell them, "I'm sorry, you have to go stand out on the road in the grass, but you can't be within 3 foot of a curb for a safety issue." That has passed the Supreme Court.
And last week, Thursday, I had a chance to go to LaPorte to talk to an individual, and approaching the bridge going into LaPorte to buy a Finley's farm.
Yeah.
I saw a grocery cart and a little old lady with a heavy jacket, I think it was a little old lady with a heavy jacket, resting alongside the road, heading towards Michigan City with her grocery cart. We got a problem out there, ladies and gentlemen. All of these little incidences, again, we start with the block, but we go on with the homeless. And the solution, look what they're doing in California with all of the drugs, and that Mayor Bass, she supports dental work for the homeless so that they can obtain a better self-esteem, so they can go out and get higher priced drugs. Because, I mean, we've got the overall...
But it falls on us.
We're responsible.
Many politicians and mayors and people of power have asked me, and people say it's mean when you do things to the homeless and the beggars. But, you know, in my sense, my opinion is it's not acceptable as a society. It's not acceptable for us to pass by and ignore them and let them fall into the quagmire. It's not acceptable as a society to be okay to sleep on a bench. We have to work at telling them it's not acceptable. It's poor treatment of humans, period. And by walking by them or giving them money, we're not helping them any. It's not acceptable for us to just ignore it.
You are enabling these people to continue to panhandle by giving them the
But we
handout.
have to help them. If it helps them every day, we have to help them every day. We had Stan Musial, right? The Keys of Hope and everything. Jim Musial. They keep trying to help, and that's the best thing we could do. And you can't just try once a month, or give them $10, or give them $1, or give them a drink, some water. We need to tell them, as a society, we cannot just ignore you. It does take effort. We will help you move into something and give you a livable life. Because honestly, some of those people, it's not easy sitting out there for 5, 6, 8 hours. It's a job, and they make good money. They're just choosing to panhandle instead of going to get a job. Because it is a job. It's not easy.
And then the tourists who are coming into the community, maybe they have to go to Myers or Lowe's, and they see these panhandlers on this little bitty island. What impact does that have in their mind towards what's going on in this community that we reside in?
Yeah, it looks like we don't care if we let panhandles go because they're just worthless to us. And we're not ignoring them. But we have to try harder. So any person that asks, what about the panhandlers or the people on the streets? We have to tell them that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable for us to let you do it. It's not acceptable for you to do it. We have to find a way to get you to support yourself without putting yourself in danger.
And that goes back to, again, my Take a New Attitude concept that I've been promoting for a long time. But since the enablers are out there providing necessities,
they're going to keep asking.
What impetus do these people have to take a new attitude when they're getting everything for free?
They're actually encouraging them. Do you think they pay taxes? Do you think they pay 30% or whatever income tax on that? Not in a million years. But again, we go back to the $140,000 of the redevelopment commission for flock cameras. I'm sure the money we spend is a lot more than that. Wouldn't it be better to take that money and give it to the police officers or hire more police officers? If supposedly we know where these neighborhoods are not good, because we have cameras there and shot spotters, wouldn't it be better to put a police officer there? Somebody personally there? Somebody in the neighborhood? Hire somebody that lives in the neighborhood to have a police car there, and they will respond. I would rather pay the police officers money instead of giving it to some multinational, international company that's storing our data. And I guarantee you it's being stored. They say they wipe it out. I'm sure it's backed up somewhere. And your freedom is gone.
I believe the mission statement of the Michigan City Police Department is to serve and protect. It also includes not to ignore. Ignore what's right in front of their eyes.
And sometimes, I know we get some money for trading our police cars in. Some communities have said, okay, we're not going to trade them in. They're already marked. We don't really need to have the radios in them. I mean, we could have a different level of police officer who have their phones. But if that car was still in town, that'd be quite a deterrent. Just because another marked police car was in the neighborhood. If it was in every neighborhood, A, there'd be a lot less crime going on. B, the people that come here would feel safer. As they see a police car in each neighborhood, they feel pretty safe. I mean, my assignment went on vacation, and I'm down in Waikiki, and in the beach area, there must have been at minimum 5, if not 10 police cars every step of the way down that road. Because even in Hawaii, there are things that go on that shouldn't. There's crime. But boy, I don't know if I recall seeing a police officer down there arresting anyone or getting out or walking around. But boy, those police cars sitting there.
It's a visual deterrent.
Oh man,
it's a visual deterrent to nip it in the bud before.
Yeah, people didn't go down there to harass tourists or rob tourists. Not in a million years. They knew there was police there, about every block.
And again, we're going to have an influx of residents this coming spring and summer.
And they want to feel safe.
They do. The lady that I stood in line with, we started a conversation up pertaining to this, similar to this issue we're talking about right now. And she said she would like an opportunity for her and her mother to come down and see a Michigan City sunset, but yet she feels uncomfortable going into Washington Park because of what has been, what other people have experienced in Washington Park, you know, and it just, hopefully the park department will take this thing on, but it gets back to will they implement with these license plate readers, will that be a flock system concept, or do they have another concept specifically for?
I would hope they have a separate park department camera system to find out what goes on down there that should not ever be allowed to go on down, either in Washington Park or Fetters Alley or by the senior center or even Stop 2. Because people want to go down there and enjoy the summer, and they come here, they're tourists, they pay good money, they want to have a nice, safe vacation. Some of these people are from Chicago, they know it's not safe. Mm-hmm. They want to come here and enjoy themselves. They don't want to worry about things that could happen. And we as a community should not allow it. And there I agree proactively. At a minimum, I don't like them, but the cameras down there, at a maximum, get some more police officers during the summer. I don't know what we pay them. I don't know if we can get some recruits that are coming out of college and they're just here for the summer, just like our lifeguards. Whatever it takes, we need the visible presence down at Washington Park, the Senior Center, Fetters Alley, and Stop 2.
We used to have Bill Green. He had a filling station in town, and he used to be a park policeman.
Yep.
We used to have a park policeman down there.
Yeah.
And what happened? They disappeared.
Yeah, we had park police.
I'm just saying that there's a better way to build a mousetrap, and my concern is, it appears to me the Michigan City Park Department is creating this new concept of license plate readers and renting out parking spaces to individuals who will then, through their device, say, well, we're going to park here for two hours, we're going to be here for 2 hours, and they will be charged an appropriate amount of money for that 2-hour rental of that space. In my mind, it looks like it's an additional fundraiser. Whether it's going to work or not remains to be seen. But if you take the tollway into Chicago and you have one of these bypass lanes that you go through, nothing happens. You go through with your bypass pass, and then you get a bill in the mail.
Well, now, yeah, it's all plate reader or app or pass or iPass or Zoom Pass. But do you think next year the park department, and I would agree, because they're saving money by not printing stickers and saving money by not you lining up and waiting, they will say, listen, Dave, I saw you last year. Are you going to have another park pass this year? And you go on their email and say, yes, I would have another park. Okay, we've got your plate. Is this the correct plate? All right, you're in.
Yeah.
We'll scan your plate and you're in.
After I got back from the park department, I jumped to my computer just to see if I got any emails from Tom, Dick, or Harry, and I, believe it or not, received an email, a confirmation from the park department that I have been accepted in the program by just providing them my email address.
And it's gonna break down some things where people are getting park stickers they shouldn't. Like, hey, Dave, did you get a park sticker? Like, no, that's not me. Oh, somebody lied and said they were you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're not giving them a park sticker.
So kudos to the park department.
Yeah.
Again, they're looking for additional revenue. This may be an opportunity for additional revenue as well as cleaning up the system. There's still the Fetters Alley area that Tony alluded to earlier that is going to attract a lot of people from out of the area, and whether they will have their license plates read properly or not remains to be seen. And if they do discover somebody, you know, then what's the policing procedure so the message has to get out. It has to get out to people that at least the park department is making an attempt, you know,
Yeah.
to
Park department's always been really good.
Yeah.
We have a really good park department.
Yeah.
We have the zoo. We have some really good people. I believe, what's her name? Is she retiring? I can't remember her name. She's been there a long time. She's the head of the park department now, right?
yeah.
She's amazing. She's an amazing person. And she's got somebody coming underneath her. I can't remember. Shannon Easton. Wow, what a treasure. What a treasure. And I think, and I hope the best if she's retiring. I think she's retiring, and good for her. She's done great for Michigan City. I believe she has somebody coming up under her, and we are blessed with the park department because we are blessed with the beach and the zoo.
And another thing with this parking concept, if you get there early enough, at the present time, if you get there early enough and you're pulling a boat and a trailer, you get a spot in the parking lot that encompasses not only your car but your trailer of your boat. Now with this video system that's going to be implemented, maybe they will say, hey, you're taking up 2 spaces of parking your boat to fish here. Just maybe you're going to have to pay.
They're different rates,
Different
trailers and cars.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems to be working, but right now you get there early enough before the park doors open up, before the gates open up, and you'll see the parking lot a third full with fishermen. So you know, then now how are the fishermen going to react to this concept? Who knows? You know, but at least somebody is trying something within the park department. The same concept should be tried here in the city of Michigan City somehow.
Yeah, I still believe the more police officers you have, the more marked cars you have in and around there, the safer it's going to be. It's proven time and time again. It's safer it's going to be. Cameras do deter. Police officers and marked cars definitely deter.
Now, I want to change the subject a little bit about repealing an ordinance. With my research, I found that the Michigan City Common Council authorized 10 years, I believe 10 years worth of tax abatement to the Phoenix concept for their project out here. Since then, Phoenix has sold to Google. And my question is, what about that 10 years worth of tax abatement that was authorized by the City Council? Can their efforts be repealed? The City Council efforts be repealed on that 2% tax abatement, given Phoenix sold the property for what, $1.58 million?
Billion?
Billion dollars? Well, they sold it to Google.
1.5 billion.
They sold it to Google, okay? And they were authorized by the City of Michigan City a 2% tax abatement on that property for 10 years. Phoenix was. Since that transaction took place, could somebody repeal the legislation on behalf of the City Council and then renegotiate with Google?
That's where I was going to
See?
go. Renegotiate.
See, right now, everything I've read, I've read, we've got a priority list, we want this. But yes, we may get those items paid for by Google, but 2% of the revenue derived from the TIF district is still going to Phoenix, unless they repeal it.
I believe in the agreement, Google probably gets it. But to go, I'm sure Google gets the abatement. But
I'm just looking for clarification.
I'm going to take the other side because people, and I'm not happy with tax abatements or giveaways. But the state of Indiana with Senate Bill, whatever it was,
1,400, I believe.
no, Senate Bill, they reduced our taxes. They reduced the revenue that the Michigan City gets. And they've capped it. So my understanding is when a big project like this comes through, they have a cap that we as Michigan City are maximum we're going to get. So if you have a $1.5 billion project come into your town and increases your revenue above the cap, you don't get it. It's going to stay in Indy. That's not right. So your only other way, the only backdoor way that all these municipalities are getting around this, as they tell somebody like Google or Phoenix, listen, your project's going to raise us above the cap. We're not going to get all that tax revenue here back to us. Indianapolis is going to keep it. So we would give you a 2% tax abatement if you agree to fund our schools for $1 million or $2 million. And LaPorte City's doing this. LaPorte County got some money. Michigan City did get some money from Phoenix. So now it's time to renegotiate. We now know that your project's at least $1.5 billion, not $890 million, almost double. We would like to renegotiate your 2% tax abatement, and you would be willing to give us, because they were either going to pay a tax, which wasn't going to come to Michigan City, or they were going to get an abatement. So in your abatement, you're going to give us half that money back to redevelopment or whoever, the school or the police or the fire or the EMS or whoever they want, whatever project. And they gave $400,000 to this playground, and those are the kinds of deals we can go back for and say, listen, this is a new game. We gave Phoenix 2% of $900 million. You guys want 2% of $1.5 billion. We would like to renegotiate the deal and another $5 or $10 million. That's where Michigan City and every municipality is in the driver's seat. So they know that the money they would have lost by the cap in the taxes that Senate bill did, we could still retain back here in Michigan City. And even better, we can put it to things that we choose. Pavement, police cars, policemen's salaries, firemen, a better fire station, a new fire equipment, whatever it is. To the school, I would put it in the school, to teachers, and then I would put in the police salaries, in their salaries, and then I'd put in the police vehicles.
Well, Microsoft is paying the LaPorte School District a 20-year agreement of funding that will receive 15% of the total property tax revenue generated by the data center. Here in Michigan City, the annual revenue proposed is $832 million data center in Michigan City, and it's projected to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars, raising to roughly $1.5 million in annual tax revenue once the 10-year tax abatement expires. That's what I'm talking about. The 10-year tax abatement is still there. It needs to be eliminated.
Renegotiated.
And I'm saying eliminated.
If you eliminate it, then you hit the tax and we don't get that money. If you eliminate the tax abatement and Michigan City hits their threshold, and maybe we need to have Mike Schultz in here as assessor, it hits that threshold, according to the Senate bill that got passed, we don't get that money, which I don't think is completely unfair. If we as Michigan City or the City of LaPorte or LaPorte County do our best to attract the new business in here, and the state says, well, you hit the ceiling, you don't get all that money, we're going to do something like a tax abatement to make sure Indianapolis is not getting that money.
But what I'm saying is somebody within the city council, rather than writing individual letters begging Google to help us out with the millionaire.
Oh, it should be an agreed upon
the city council should introduce a repealing ordinance towards that, granting that 10-year tax.
I would say introduce it just as a negotiation tactic.
Correct.
And then have them redeal and give us some more money off this. We went from 900 million to 1.5 billion. We'd like some more money. And then they would understand that, hey, if we don't make a deal, this 2% tax abatement's gone. We make a deal and maybe they share the 2%, whatever they're saving, 20 million, they're going to give us 10 million. I think that's fair.
But the way I read it so far is that everything that is negotiated it has been done behind the scenes with Google and the mayor's office, and so it all is contingent on this 10-year tax abatement program. If that tax abatement program was repealed and wiped off the books, then we would go back to square one and renegotiate with Google.
Well, I think
the city of LaPorte is doing.
If you
with
just
Microsoft.
Introduce it, they're going to renegotiate.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, true.
Yeah, you don't have to actually.
But I'm just saying, everything that the mayor is requesting right now, her wish list is based on that 10-year tax abatement, and so
I haven't kept up. Has Michigan City agreed to a contract with the police yet?
no. Remember, I brought it up. They only got $200,000 to negotiate a pay raise with.
So they need a raise.
Yeah.
And we need more police. And there's your money right there. I would hope the union is representing the officers. Say, listen, we know you're short because of the tax cuts and the tax caps, but we can get you some more money right here. So why don't you? We tallied it up. This is what we want. This is where you can get the money. I always say that when people in and out of the government, people come and they have concerns and issues, and I usually ask them, well, why don't you solve the problem? Just throwing the problem out there and hoping somebody else solves it, that's not fair. Solve the problem. Give me the solution, and we will work on it. And I believe the police union could do that. So could a fire union.
It says here, to accomplish a vote to rescind or overturn an action or a legal ordinance by the Michigan City Common Council in Indiana, you must navigate both parliamentarian rules and municipal law. In municipal government, once a legal ordinance is fully passed and enacted, it cannot simply be wiped away with the standard parliamentary motion to rescind. That was my initial thought, motion to rescind.
No motion to rescind.
Yeah, motion to rescind would be, but can't do that. Okay, if contractual or legal rights have already been established, which they have, instead it must be formally repealed through an amendment by introducing a new ordinance. The entity that introduces the new ordinance is the City of Michigan City. Now, the mayor can if it is not in favor of the mayor, she can veto it, and then you need a 2/3 vote of the city council members to wipe out her veto. But there is a mechanism in place that could be considered rather than writing individual letters from the 9 council people that we want to renegotiate. We could use this as leverage. We could use this as leverage to Google, because how many millions of dollars billions of dollars they've got invested?
Well, they got 900 million from Phoenix, and they bought it for 1.5 billion. So
yeah, so there's they've got already a lot of investment in this property.
What's 10 million to them?
Yeah,
when they're talking about 1.5 billion, that's $1,500 million. 10 million, they'll write the check.
And then we could go back and start at square one. Providing some transparency. Again, Michigan City's efforts is not as transparent as LaPorte's efforts.
As long as the agreement, and I see this a lot in title policy, doesn't say to its successors and assigns. If we had that agreement with Phoenix, we're not very smart. It's very smart for Phoenix to put that in there. We have a 2% tax abatement to us and to our successors and assign. So whoever comes after us or whoever we want to assign it to, we can't. I come into that field because when you do a survey for a piece of property that's changing, they always want the attorneys, of course, to do, and the buyer always wants to be able to assign that to anyone they want. So they want to assign my liability onto somebody else. And I'm like, no. This is for you and the bank and the mortgage company. I'm not letting you assign it to whoever you want in the future, and I still have to hold the insurance.
Are you implying that?
I'll bet you the agreement says to successors and assigns.
Well, then we need clarification. See, again, but you got to be transparent. You can't create a wish list behind the scenes and hope for the best.
Well, if you went to, in my opinion, if Phoenix came to Michigan City and they said, we're going to give you $10 million if we get this 2% tax abatement, you say, great, that's fine. And they say, sign this agreement, it says two successors. They sign and say, wait a minute, if you sell it, because this is just like any big business, they sell, they go to equity partners, they transfer hands multiple times, just like your mortgage might transfer a bank. And they say two successors and assigns. You say, okay, I was willing for the 10 million, but now you want me to add a future assign or a future successor. I want 30 million now. And then I'll sign that. Because I know somebody could come along, which they did in less than 1 year, and doubled the value, and now you don't get the money from the tax abatement.
So who is the legal entity behind the scenes negotiating on behalf of the city of Michigan City? Who was the legal entity?
It's either the council attorney or the mayor's attorney.
What about the city attorney wouldn't be
The
involved?
city attorney, yes. But all council has their own attorney too.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of
I'm just
since your day.
I'm just saying that comparing the two communities,
Yeah, they got a pretty good deal.
LaPorte got a pretty good deal, and
But it's a lot bigger. Their Microsoft is, I would guess, 3 or 4 times the size of ours and expanding. So they have got a lot more money.
Yeah, but still, we got the project here in Michigan City is $832 million.
Well, now it's 1.5 billion.
See, so I mean,
Doubled in value.
So I'm just pointing out. I'm not a lawyer.
No.
But I want the best bang for the buck for the residents of the city of Michigan City. And as it stands right now, I don't see it because I see negotiations are going on behind the scenes that we are not privileged to.
I don't think we'll be privileged, but I think the council's involved. I can pretty much guarantee the council members are talking to
Well, then
their-
why would they be begging? I saw a councilwoman request people to sign her letter so we can get 9 members for Google to renegotiate. Why would that occur?
Mayor Angie's been good about it. I'm sure somebody knows, and most of these don't need to be out in public. That's just the way it is. I mean, they're not going to deal like an auction house right in front of everybody and start dickering about the price and how much they're going to give us. I mean, this is where we have elections, which you talked about.
Yep.
And this is where our representative governor trusts them that we put them there to make the best deal that we can get. And Mayor Angie's been good about keeping the council informed. I don't know about a letter, but I would say somebody knows what the deal is being negotiated. I would hope, because there's more money here. We went from 800 some
Definitely
million to
there's more money.
1.5 billion, almost twice. There's more money. And we need to, and what we're really doing is buying time. So the Senate bill that capped our taxes could get changed next year. That's an election year. Possible. Probably will be, because various communities are very upset. They have this growth and they can't recoup the cost, recoup the tax increment coming in. So they're making these deals, redevelopment, TIF districts, abatements, whatever it takes to keep the money here. That's fair, and I would bet they're now looking at, oh, wait a minute, the state's either going to go do 2 things. They're either going to say, wait a minute, we put you in a tight spot, we can't cap you that much, and they're going to negotiate the cap. Or the state's going to say, listen, we're not happy you're circumventing our rules and not obeying the tax cap. We're going to stop you from making these deals and tax abatements and TIFs and redevelopments, so you can't do that. My guess is the government we had won't do that. They will double down and say, we made this deal, you didn't follow it, we're going to take your ability away from making other deals to keep money in your community.
Words matter, ladies and gentlemen, words matter. And when it is published that Microsoft will pay full share of property taxes for LaPorte Data Center project, that says a lot. And you compare that with what I just presented to you, it's a difference of night and day. Okay? Michigan City is paying 2% tax abatement for Phoenix with this contingency that may apply. Michigan City is paying for the right to Google come in and do business here when Microsoft will pay full property tax assessment. Doesn't that say something to you?
It's a it's a hard calculation to do because full tax assessment means LaPorte City might not be getting all that revenue. They'll pay it, and then the state will say you hit your tax, your maximum, this is all you get, and they will be shorted.
Microsoft will set aside 15% to the school corporation
And there
for
you go.
20 years.
They're setting aside 15% to keep LaPorte under their tax maximum.
What is Michigan City doing in regards
And isn't that nice that LaPorte City, well, how much they're doing?
LaPorte City 15%?
15% for schools.
Yeah.
Schools. There is no better money than investing in our future.
And the superintendent, Sandra Woods, said it will be significantly more lucrative. The revised structure is significantly more favorable to the district and establishes a dedicated revenue stream of a magnitude. I'm reading half of the words here.
Yeah.
Magnitude that is, to my knowledge, unprecedented
Yep.
for public school corporations in our state. Ladies and gentlemen, transparency.
We just got back to the schools.
Is this not transparency? Okay.
And you're not going to have much time left, but do you want to talk about a quick blurb about the schools and what they didn't get last year? We have some good people. Went to the redevelopment and asked for money.
And Kevin McGuire and the principal or the superintendent of schools went to the redevelopment commission and requested from the redevelopment commission $1.2 million for metal detectors
Last year.
Of course, I can't even think of that guy's name who's in charge. But anyway, it's here someplace. Skylar York. Skylar York said, "Well, we can't give you that money. We can't give you that money. But within the 3 years, possibly, we'll be able to give you that money." Okay. Well, Kevin made his yearly presentation to the redevelopment commission, explaining all of the positive things that he has done as far as technology is concerned with limited funds from the redevelopment commission. And at redevelopment commission, Skylar York said, "Oh, by the way, Mr. McGuire, you've got your $600,000 this year." Redevelopment Commission shortchanged the Michigan City area schools their $600,000 from last year because it was a negotiated period that they decided not to give the school city their $600,000, which is half of what they're entitled to. But the fact of the matter is they have almost $14.5 million in the bank right now. They have their June draw, which is coming up June the 6th. They will be entitled to another $4 or $5 million, which they get from revenue derived from the TIP district. And as state law states, 10% goes to the school system if they request it. A request was made 2 years ago on the redevelopment commission. Well, you made the request 2 years ago, and we'll give you half of what you requested 2 years ago. Does that show a collaborated effort between the redevelopment commission and tax revenue and the Michigan City area schools? No, it doesn't. Who's leading who around by a ring in the end of their nose? The state law mandates it. The school requested it. They deserve it.
And again, there's not enough development. We got 5 minutes. There's not enough money we can pump into school as long as it goes to the teachers. Administrator gets paid enough. These teachers need raises. We need to have the best paid teachers in the state.
Prior to this show, Tony and I, we did a little rehearsal pertaining to Plock. You know, he has his concerns. I see it as a visual deterrent to the crime that exists here in Michigan City that nobody wants to talk about.
All right, and the real quick thing, I talked about it because I did see this in use, something called a wave break.
Oh, yeah.
Giving this to different mayors in this town and different council members. You can see this is just a plastic thing they put out there. It stops the undertow in the waves. I don't know how much money it is, but boy, it works in other communities. It makes you a nice place to go in the lake without getting undertow and people getting pulled under, and it gives you a nice place to enjoy the beach, and it stops the erosion. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. I brought it here and I did my research.
My dad, well, again, we were originally from Michigan City, and my dad always used to warn me, watch out for Lake Michigan because it's dangerous out there. And again, the undertows, if we had individuals who wanted to take a new attitude and make something happen in this community, I'm quite sure something will.
And I believe it's permittable in Lake Michigan because Town of Whiting has their floating water park. And I didn't realize how good this wave break was when I looked at it, because we could put this out there as a wall out by Mount Baldy and stop Mount Baldy from moving too. This wave break would act like a pier and keep the sand sitting in front of Mount Baldy, and they wouldn't spend all the money about Mount Baldy moving 7 feet south every year.
Is the concept like a fishnet that's lowered into the ground?
No, it floats about 2 feet out of the water and about 4 feet into the water. So it just stops the velocity and the waves and the undertow in the swimmable area.
Would that have any bearing on the boat races and everything else?
Well, they leave openings.
Oh, do they?
And it would not, and so they just anchor it down. It kind of floats at the top, stops the wave, keeps the sand in. This is not new. I've seen it work.
Is this a Made in America company?
I believe it's made in America. It's pretty simple, really neat system. Maybe Michigan City could get this, and maybe Mount Baldy could get this and save our Mount Baldy.
Yeah. And again, another potential visual deterrent.
Maybe we could get Google to pay for it.
There we go. But again, I'm looking for the best bang for our buck in the community. It can be gotten. What we got for time, Tony? We got down to 2 minutes. Anything closing? You got anything closing?
No, I did bring something that we talked a little bit about NIPSCO forcing to keep their coal-fired plant open and how much that's going to cost. Mine is keep your eye on the ball here. NIPSCO is saying it's going to cost a bunch of money to keep the coal plant open because the federal government said they have. If it's a hot summer, we're going to need that coal plant open to run our air conditioners.
Well, there again, even at the federal level, maybe somebody could make a motion to rescind and eliminate this on a temporary basis, the legislation on coal-fired furnaces.
We're going to see if it's a good deal or a bad deal this summer.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked what transpired today. We're just bringing points out. We're getting down to the last minute, but we're bringing points out to provide an alternative to the current direction the City of Michigan City is going. And again, whether the city fathers will accept it as it stands over the last since 2022, everything that I said basically has been rejected until I had to force their hand, the Redevelopment Commission, to excremate or get off the pot. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvement to criticism of this program is greatly appreciated. Please contact Shows Tribe co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Vila, or Tony Hendricks. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djvila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailhem@yahoo.com. Or you may direct your ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. The showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., also Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 99. I've had communication with Jeff Dobler. He's going to come on, and we're going to discuss Michigan City Municipal Band concerts coming up. He couldn't make it today because Valparaiso has commencement exercises, but he says in the foreseeable future he wants to discuss future programs. Bob is on a special assignment. We sent him to Iran to discuss if he has found any gays in the Straits of Hormuz. He's going to come back with that information within the next couple of weeks. So look forward to that information. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and make it a good day.